The WB Paramount merger is filled with controversy. And David Ellison is going nuclear with a threat to move Paramount out of California. We have a story here from The Wrap. This is caused shockwaves through Hollywood, and it could either destroy the merger or it could destroy the industry. But Paramount WB could move to, I guess they're looking at Atlanta, Nashville, and Texas as some of the options. Alan, the story is here on The Wrap. Give it to me.
Yes. David Ellison reportedly told his leadership team that the company could begin relocating as early as October. Possible destinations include Nashville or Atlanta, with Texas also courting the studio. Paramount could potentially sell its California studio lots for billions of dollars and create a smaller creative hub in Los Angeles. But Paramount says the threat is serious, arguing that leaving California could save hundreds of millions in taxes, but the move would create an enormous practical problem. Paramount would be separate from Hollywood's talent agencies, executives, filmmakers, and informal deal-making network, potentially making it harder to attract and retain talent. There is also concern about a major talent exodus. High-profile creators could be tempted to leave for competitors rather than relocate across the country, particularly if layoffs are already expected following the merger. Bonta, meanwhile, has called Ellison's threat an attempt to blackmail regulators into approving a merger he believes is illegal. He says that California is confident that the antitrust case and remains prepared to go to trial rather than negotiate under pressure. The potential move would also be a major blow to Los Angeles, where about 17% of Paramount's workforce is based, including 35% of its studio employees. Industry experts warn that moving productions could cost thousands of jobs and further weaken an already battered Hollywood economy.
This story has me all fired up. There's a couple things I want to point out here. One, if Paramount WB move, that is the end of Hollywood, is the end of California being the center of the universe for making movies and TV shows. It's over. There will not be enough work with two major studios leaving. It's over, at least in Hollywood, California. Friends of mine that I know personally will be out of work. Lots of people will move, but lots of people on the lower end will lose their jobs and livelihood, not to mention iconic restaurants, more iconic restaurants closing. I'm furious about this. And I want to know, the bigger story is this. Who is telling Rob Bonta, a tool, the Attorney General of the state of California, who is telling him to do this? This is totally politically motivated because the Ellisons are friendly to one side of the political aisle that the establishment in California doesn't agree with. And the actors coming out against this merger, who is telling them to say that? All these people, Rob Bonta is a face and a tool. Gavin Newsom is a tool to all of the his donors and other powers that be. It's clear. And the actors that have come out being very public against this, who is telling them to do that? I'll tell you, look, I've met a lot of actors. Can't say they're the brightest bulbs in the bunch. Okay. Mostly on the dim side. Although I'll meet one here or there where I'm very impressed and they really understand the craft and they're savvy people. But that's not the majority. And there are forces trying to kill this deal. And if they kill it, it'll kill Hollywood. Now, will they go somewhere else and make movies? Sure. But you will hobble this new company in their very beginnings. And I'm just so pissed off about this. And let me share here from our friend Joseph Kahn, filmmaker, award-winning filmmaker. Here's what he had to say. California wants Ellison to fail. Ellison responds he will move his corporation out of California because they want him to fail. California says, no, this is why you shouldn't succeed, because you won't let California fail you. Welcome to Crazy Town. And he quote tweets one of the many stories that have just basically said what the Wrap said, which was in Variety and the Reporter. And by the way, these trade publications are completely compromised and complicit with this attitude. I cannot believe it. There are forces at work, probably outside Hollywood, that are trying to kill the industry. And I'm livid about it. Livid. And I want some of the people I know that kind of get sucked into this and they have an opinion that just fits with everyone else's opinion. Take a step back. Why would Rob Bonta come out of the woodwork? Where was he when Disney and Fox? What happened there during the Disney-Fox merger? What happened with that? That's arguably as big or bigger. I call BS. Alan, I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. You know why politicians get into politics? It's to gain power. And not only to gain power, but to use power. And that's exactly what's going on here. Why is he going after Paramount? Because he can. Because he's the Attorney General of the state of California. Sure, he could go after fraud in California, hospice fraud. We've got certainly our own set of leering problems. He could go after those, but he's not. No, this is his Moby Dick. This is the whale he wants to take down, and he's putting his reputation on it.
My question to you and everyone else: why is he doing it?
Why? Because he can. Because he can.
When you hear a politician say they care about a particular issue, ask them why they care. Yeah. It's never for reasons that are virtuous. It's never for that. He's trying to destroy this company. Some of it probably has to do with CNN, which they should just sell off. A concession they should make is, fine, CNN, go off, spin off your own company. We'll sell it for a song. Let's see you be profitable on your own. I'm furious because I'm seeing the city I love, Los Angeles, a city that is my adopted hometown. I'm from Michigan, from a little place called Royal Oak, like just a couple miles outside of Detroit. And I love that city, but you know what? I came here and I was able to achieve unbelievable. I wrote books. I made films, made friends. I had kids here. I have roots here. Became friends with you, Alan. Mm-hmm. Here in California, I love Los Angeles. I love what it was. What it's become is a city destroyed by politicians and government. And the fact that people aren't smart enough to see through this, the fact that the trades are complicit in this, and that every compromised politician is buying into this is unconscionable.
I mean, to your point, Hollywood.
I'm fired up and angry.
Yeah, I know. To your point, politicians, at least when I'm born in LA, raised in LA. I lived literally a mile from MGM Studios, which is now Sony Studios. That's how close. That's the closest I am to Hollywood. And we've always known, and it was always believed that the people who ran Los Angeles loved Hollywood and valued it and realized what a treasure it was. And now LA has been taken over by people who probably not from LA. And also they don't care. These things these traditions, this love of Hollywood that we once had is not important to them, because if it was important to them, they would fight for stuff like this. My issue with politicians, especially on the left, is that they don't see what the rest of us see. They don't see how impossible it is to do a production in Los Angeles. Not from just the permitting, the bureaucracy, and the fees that you have to pay. It is oppressive. And why would you want to do that? And then, as you say, this complicity of the media, they fear that if Paramount moves to Nashville or Atlanta, that they're going to be separate from the rest of Hollywood, and it's going to be more difficult to make a movie. Guess what? People aren't making movies in California anyways. People aren't making movies in Hollywood. That idea that the only place you can make a movie is in Hollywood has been long disproven. You can go anywhere, get all the tax credits you want. The only holdouts are the people who are clustered in Hollywood, who feel like if they move, they've lost. And I hate to say it, but we're getting to that point where you're going to have to move. Or the fact that you don't have to live in Hollywood to work in Hollywood.
Well, I'll say this. I'll end with this. Is that I've been here since 89 is when I moved here. I was a kid. And what LA and California gave me was so much opportunity. And I'm so grateful for it. And I feel like the people who come to California to achieve something, they're rugged individualists. But the people I see around me have bought into this socialist commie dream. And I don't be fooled. But I will, if WB and Paramount move, I'm going to look where they move. Mm-hmm. Because based on where California goes in this fall's election, my residency here is on the line. I believe, I've been optimistic. I'm an eternal optimist, maybe to my detriment, but I hope things can change. But this just really, you know what? Let's see where Paramount and WB, if they end up moving, that's where I may go.
Yeah. It's interesting. Because before you've mentioned this many times, and I'm like, well, what would happen if Chris moved? What would happen to Film Threat? And it's like, well, nothing, because the only reason we stay
backdrop my
your backdrop.
I'd have a bigger room.
Yeah, you have a bigger room. You'd be shooting from an actual studio that you built in your mansion.
Not really. I don't know about that.
But why is LA so important for Film Threat? Well, we get to drive to screenings, which are now moving to television, to our on-screen apps on our Roku televisions. It's like, it's symbolic that Film Threat is in Los Angeles at this point.
Yeah, look, I've still got the same mailbox on Wilshire Boulevard, 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California, 90036. That's a mailbox I've had since 1996. 30 years I've had that mailbox. I had an office down the street at La Brea and Wilshire, the Asahi Beer Building, no longer, but I had physical offices there, a mailbox down the street. I've kept that mailbox for years, but I'm sorry to say I may be leaving along with Paramount and WB.
I was just thinking, you're more likely to get murdered getting your mail now than anything else.
Yeah.